So you ever just walk around the Division 2 and just look at all the amazing things that we got to do, from New York City Hunters, we had the 13 Hunters, collecting all of the exotics that we had in the game, and just coming back and seeing all these walls, right, that actually showcase all of this. Now, the question is, what's next? What is really next for the Division? What now? And after that update 16.3, we'll go over, I was very disappointed on a couple things that I read, and I'll explain now. So let's get into what we know so far. If you guys know, the season did get delayed. Target Mitchell in about 2 weeks and 1 day, and at the same time we should get that Dark Path Apparel event, and 2 weeks after that Apparel event we should have the Winter Celebration, which I'm thinking will probably give us some new vanity items. Usually there's always one new vanity item, and who knows, there might not be, but I think we probably get a vanity item for this. And then after that, it just kind of gets delayed all the way till, you guys already know, 2023. So that was already a big disappointment. But what I really wanted to talk about was what happened with 16.3, the new update that they just dropped on Tuesday. We knew they needed to fix a lot of things, and one of them being fix the issue that allowed players to turn invisible by interacting several times within the dark zone entrance and safe room door. A lot of people say, who I've talked to, who still play in the dark zone, which is kind of minimum right now, say that they haven't experienced any issues with this. But if you guys have, let me know in the comments. They also had fixed something with the manhunt. Players no longer receive the decryption key while being in another player's game. Season 9 objectives are no longer active. So that's for the manhunts that, you know, not manhunts in the dark zone, just manhunts. And then they also fixed some issues with the gear weapons. They fixed the issue that allowed you to stack the Foundry Bulwark gear set talent infinitely by changing server instances, and people were becoming invincible. They fixed the textures for the Carbine 7 assault rifle, and they fixed the Brazos brand set item qualities in the Parents Collection. So small little fixes here and there, and it's cool. They're fixing things that needed to be fixed, right? We keep going on, and then we look at the matchmaking, and they say they fixed the issue where players were unable to matchmake for raid or expedition while in a group of 2 or 3 members for the mega map matchmake menu or matchmaking station. So in case any of you guys were wondering, they did fix that. Vanity, they fixed multiple minor clipping issues. I haven't really dived into those. I know there were clipping issues with a couple of the weapons for sure, but I'm not sure which ones they changed. They didn't really dive into it. For strongholds, they fixed the issue with the extra boss loot lines present in the legendary difficulties of Manning National Zoo on the mega map. Players will no longer respawn and reset skills after going in unplayable area of Tidal Basin Stronghold. Fixing the issue with the boss loot drops not being detailed for legendary difficulty missions in the mega map. So that's when you like look at it. So if you go right here, we go, there's no legendary missions, but if you click on this, you see how it says drops, materials, increased loot allocation. It would have something on there like rewards right under. They fixed the inconsistent display window between the named bosses that have been damaged or killed with the boss's name shown in objective UI for legendary difficulty Manning National Zoo. So it looks like Manning National Zoo had a couple issues that they needed to fix. They took care of that. The miscellaneous, they compare tab no longer overlaps reconfigure tabs in the crafting station menu, and then fixed the issue that allowed players to receive unlimited shade points to spend on resources when running the game in certain languages, which is kind of weird. So yeah, there was a issue there. Now, store exclusives. Pink tracksuit outfit now available, 640 premium credits. We already talked about that in one of our other videos. And they continue on and they show the Stinger outfit, which we actually showed, and that was actually the video right before, well, the 2 videos before this. You guys can get it with 800 premium credits or 1700 textiles for the mask. For the next brace, 1000 textiles or 260 premium credits. The Stinger Hunter pants, 245 premium credits or 1000 textiles. The shirt, 550 premium credits or 1300 textiles, and then the Stinger Hunter boots, 220 premium credits or 1000 textiles. So if you guys are like me, right, if we go to apparel, you click on this right here, you'll notice I have 34,000 textiles and 3,700 premium credits. So you you guys, if you've been playing the game a while, you probably have enough textiles to get this outfit. Remember, this is one of the cooler outfits, one of the OGs from back in the day. So in case you guys are looking for that, there you guys go. Now, something that really bothered me, right? I'm actually gonna put it on real quick for you. So it's this holster right here, right? It's the Picaro's holster. And if you notice right here, we have one that has core attribute 170,000 armor. We have critical damage and we have weapon damage. And I actually had one here that had weapon damage, headshot damage, and armor. And I have a couple more that I haven't even rerolled. Now, when this kit first came out, that weapon damage down there used to say 20%. Then people in the beta said, hey, it was a little too powerful. So they moved the 20% up to where the armor was. So it was a roll that you couldn't change. That said 20% and you had 2 attributes. Now, when they finally came out, they dropped it and it had 15% weapon damage at the bottom, but they told us that we were able to roll that core attribute to red, blue, or yellow. So you could actually have 30% weapon damage on this, which would have made it a very strong piece, especially if you like running red builds. Now, the biggest issue with all of this though is they came out and said they're not going to fix this. Now, what they did say is the Picaro's holster core attribute can't be rolled red. So you can roll it yellow, you can roll it blue, you just can't roll it red, which is kind of crazy to see. And then it says, our intention for the item was to allow for the core attribute to be re-rolled to red, one instead of the blue that it comes with. So it always comes with blue, like this one right here that hasn't been touched, right? But you should be able to roll that to whatever you want. As the item technically already has a red core, but placed under the attribute, the game will not allow it to re-roll red. So when I first read that, I was like, it won't allow it, then why don't you just code it to do it? They said changing this behavior would mean we would have to recode the entire behavior of all items in the game and risk introducing issues in that process. Now, that was my biggest concern when I read that. My biggest concern when I read this was like, wow, there's bigger issues to the coding in the game. And I've talked to you guys literally when I said I was disappointed about a lot of things that was going on with this game. And while I love this game for PvE, I felt like PvP has some issues. And I still come back and play PvE every now and then. As you guys see, I create videos for you guys. But what else they said is, as it would require a complete rebuild of attributes on all items in the game, we had to make the decision to leave the Picaro's holster as it is now. But what really concerns me is the fact that they said for them just to make a minor change where they put the core attribute and allowing you to change it to red, yellow, blue, means that the coding for this was created in a way that is very difficult for them to make changes like this. Significant changes. And right there, that alone really concerns me, because while it may not be a game changer for the Picaro's holster, right? People still will run it. It's still a really good piece to run. It may not be the all red meta piece you guys would have run. My biggest concern is this right here. And we're gonna actually head over and I'm gonna show you guys something. We're gonna head over here, go all the way around. We're actually heading to the specialization trees. And if you guys haven't been keeping track of division for a while, go to specializations. You might notice we have a full tree. We have the firewall, the gunner, technician, demolitionist, survivors, and all of them have their own tree, right? All of these have one major tree, all set together, right? Like everything is set up. There's a signature weapon for each one of these, and they're supposed to be making one big tree for all of them. So instead of having all of these trees separate, that they're going to do is get rid of all of the separate. It's going to be one, and you can just pick which area you want. So say if you wanted to run the signature weapon from the gunner class, you could run it with the technician class. Say if you wanted to run enhanced diagnostics from this from the technician class, well, you could run it with the demolitionist class. So you would be able to spec based on, this is what they kind of like hinted at, whatever you want. You would be limited, you would have available points, and you couldn't spec into everything, so you could choose your own playstyle. But it would be one, so if you wanted to run the gunner med kit, well, you could run it with the signature weapon from the technician. There isn't really one specific specialization you would be into. My biggest concern with this is, if there's such an issue with changing one item, right, to have a core roll red and actually have a red, have attribute in there, My biggest concern with all of that is, what about these specialization trees? Like there's a lot that goes into these. There's the med kits. There's a lot of these. Some that give you 10% armor on kill. Some give you 10% skill healing. Some give you 10% skill damage. It just seems like there's a lot going on in the specializations that for them to do a full rework, and the reason why we haven't seen this rework is because they know if they do it wrong, it's going to cause major issues. And I actually addressed this in one of my previous videos where I talk a lot about this, where I feel that this specialization tree, while it's an amazing idea, the more that I think about it with the crew that they have currently working on the Division 2, and as they continue to grow that crew and they're learning the code for this, there's a lot of issues with the base code, right? And I've noticed this with like small things. When they fix one thing, it breaks another thing. And that's my biggest issue. My biggest concern, right, is the worst thing they could do is introduce this and then it just literally breaks the system or it doesn't work well. And that's why I feel like a lot of people are concerned with the current state of the Division 2 as they start to make the game like run well, right? Because they definitely can get to that point. If they don't do any major changes, they can fix what's going on with the game, make it run well, and people will be able to play the game. But as they continue to introduce new talents, new skills, new weapons, and balance the game, it's going to cause more and more issues because they keep throwing more and more loot. And you know, every season we get more loot, and it seems like every season that we get more gear, there's always something that's causing a major issue in the game. And I think as they continue to add more gear, it could cause more issues. And that's what we don't want. And that's why I've been talking about the Division 3 a lot recently, and why I think I wish they would just say, hey, look, we're focusing on Division 3, whether they are or not, right? We don't know. But if they are, or they're going to, just put your assets into Division 3. Maybe Division 2 is just a holdover till Division Resurgence, the mobile game comes out, Division Heartland, and then once they get those going, then the team can slowly move on to Division 3, right? You kind of saw this with Division 1. Once we got near the end, it was kind of like on, I wouldn't say life support, it was just on like maintenance mode. Right before Division 2, Division 1 was just kind of on maintenance mode. They had that one, they had 1.8 drop. They had 1.8.3 drop, and then it was kind of like maintenance mode all the way until Division 2 dropped, right? So for me, I just feel like we're gonna have that period where Division 2 content comes to like a standstill, right? It just gets really slow. And who knows what happens from now until the next season is supposed to come out. Who knows, right? But what I will tell you is I think there's a lot bigger issues, especially if you just look at what they said about the Picaro's holster and how they're not able to make a small change because they have to recode everything else in the game to make that small change, which just raises so many alarms, at least for me. But I'm hoping they can get this all right. I'm hoping the holster's probably a done deal, but whatever they do in the future, hopefully they can continue the game going in the right direction. We're gonna wrap up the video here, guys. Let me know what you think about the current state of the division. What do you think about the future of the division? And what are you looking forward to most in the division franchise? Whether it's Division 2, Division Resurgence, Division Heartland, or you just want to see another division announced. All right, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. But until then, hey, nothing much is out.